All right. Peace and light, family. I hope that y'all are well. And I'm getting a signal. Oh, it says the Wi-Fi connection is unstable. I hope y'all can see me and hear me well. Okay, let me know in the comments if y'all can see me and hear me well. If so, much love, wellness community. I see y'all in the chat. Hey, everybody. Holla Chica, butterflies in the sky. Hey, Colleen, Sparkle. How y'all doing? I love y'all dearly. I hope that everyone is well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. Y'all know I love y'all so much. Okay, thank you so much. You said you can see and hear me. Thank you so much. Okay, good. All right, y'all. So we just gonna get right into it because I don't want to waste too much time. What it do, boo? What it do? What it do, boo? What it do? Okay, hey, Darcel. Darcel is so foolish. Y'all gonna make Emma work for the kill. If you ain't seen the reading yet, y'all go watch it. Okay, go watch it. You so silly, Darcel. Hey, so listen, y'all. Let's get into it because I don't want to waste too much time. Listen, family. In the wellness community, we have a group chat. In the group chat, they mentioned Summer Walker posting her shrine, and I found out that Summer Walker posted her shrine, or a shrine. Let me say a shrine, in the shade room. The shade room posted it, and I went straight to the comments because I was like, I know people are talking. And this is not the first time that this type of thing has happened where a celebrity has posted anything that is outside of Christianity and folks freak out, right? If we recall, and I'll show some things. If we recall, Azalea Banks had posted her altar space where she sacrifices her chickens, and she was like she was gonna clean it, and folks freaked out. They had a whole fit. So I'm scrolling through the shade room, and they posted Summer Walker in front of a shrine, and people was in the comments, and they was like, in the name of Jesus, we plead deliverance in Jesus and all of that, right? And I was like, okay, here we go. But I didn't talk about it immediately because that is, for me personally, I feel like everybody's tradition and journey is their own, and it's not my space to speak on anybody else's tradition. But in the wellness community, early this morning, someone posted the photo, and they basically asked like what was our thoughts. I believe it was Queen MUA posted the photo, and she wanted to know what were our thoughts on it. And I shared mine. And one thing I wanted to point out was that this is a shrine that she's sharing, not necessarily an altar, and there is a difference. So my intention for this video is to discuss what an altar is, what a shrine is, what are some differences, and what should be kept sacred and private versus what should be shared out in the open. That's my intention for this video. And we just gonna get straight into it. So first and foremost, let me just say, y'all, there is a huge difference between an altar and a shrine. And oftentimes the terms are used interchangeably, but there is a difference. So essentially, a shrine is a space, a sacred space where you venerate Orisha, or you venerate any type of energy that you desire. So it could be ancestors, it could be Orisha, it could be any energy else in any other faith or whatever, different faiths, different religions that you choose to venerate. Normally when you do a shrine, you will put like statues, figures. There could be like dolls or various representations, photos, fabric, offerings like fruit and all different types of food, flowers, water, honey. There could be a variety of different things that you put to represent a specific Orisha or energy. So anything that represents that Orisha or that energy that you are venerating, you will put at that space, and that is a shrine. Now, the thing about a shrine is you normally just go to a shrine to only give thanks, and to give honor, to venerate the ancestors, the Orisha, that energy that you have. That's a shrine. So a shrine is just a space for veneration. It's a space where you go to give honor, you give thanks, you may pray, you may say thank you, give gratitude. And again, at the shrine, it's just like a bunch of different representations of that Orisha. So I will show the picture that Summer posted, and y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about a little bit. Let me see if I can get us the photo going. Okay. So this is the picture that Summer posted, and if you see, she's squatting down in front of the shrine. You see that all the offerings and the sacrifices right there. So you can see she has like the flowers, she has the fruit, she has all kind of things that are representative of the Orisha, right? That she is that the shrine is dedicated to. It looks like an Oshun shrine to me. And again, that's just a space where you would go and you would venerate and you would give thanks. A shrine in most traditions is a little different than an altar. The best way I could describe an altar is the altar is the spiritual workspace. Your altar is your spiritual workspace. That is the space where the sacrifices are prepared to potentially put on the shrine. That is the space where like the work is done. So the altar is the spiritual work space. Okay. That's a big difference between an altar and a shrine. The altar is normally the space where when you are, doing some deep, deep, serious work, you are creating spiritual baths, you are, preparing your sacrifices, you are preparing your offerings, you are praying over them, you are doing your petitions, you are doing your altar is your space where you do that stuff. Now, some people use these terms interchangeably because some people use these spaces interchangeably. Some people will use their shrine as a workspace, but that's not necessarily common to do. Some people use their altar as their shrine, where on their altar they will have various representations of ancestors or Orisha or whatever energy that they are venerating. So they will use their altar in a sense as a shrine, and they will at the altar prepare their offering and everything like that. But normally your offerings and your sacrifices and things like that are prepared separately from your shrine. So again, the photo that Summer is showing, if you look around, you look on the floor, you look around, you see how it's in a very neat, beautiful space. It's neatly cut, cleaned. Everything is placed very nicely, very neatly. This is clear signs of a shrine. This is a shrine. I'm not trying to be messy, but you don't see no blood nowhere. You don't see anything like that. Like there's no, the work is not being done there. Everything is being clearly prepared separately and neatly cared for and placed at the shrine. A shrine is normally very well cared for. It's very neat, very clean. Everything is usually kept very fresh. You look after it very carefully. You protect it very well. And again, at the shrine, you just go and you give gratitude, you give thanks. It's really truly like just an offering space. The spiritual work is not necessarily done at the shrine. Oftentimes, especially in an Ile, okay, which from the collective of photos that Summer posted, it seems like that she may have been at a misa or been at a gathering with her Ile, with her spiritual house, her spiritual family. Normally your godparents, or the elders whose house you go to, will have a shrine that is public for their godchildren. So their godchildren can go and they can kneel at the shrine, bow at the shrine, say a prayer, say a gratitude, say thank you. They may be able to put money down, put an offering down. But as a godparent, as an elder, it is almost like your duty to have a sacred space for your children to come and kneel and pray and give thanks, to have a shrine for the Ile. Now, at that shrine for the Ile, again, it's open to everyone who has been blessed into the Ile, right? It's open. So anyone can go and give offering and give thanks and, and shed love and shed light at the shrine, right? Now, the altar is more of a sacred space because that is where the spiritual work is done. That's where the sacrifices are made. That's where, you'll often see a lot of like spiritual tools used there. I was going to say things like a machete. You may see like a lot of knives, a lot of different, spiritual tools that are used at the altar. Okay. So the altar is usually not so pretty. Okay, the altar is usually not so clean looking. It's usually off in a very private space. Okay, and oftentimes the altar is taken down. Oftentimes the spiritual workspace, after the work is done, it's cleaned up, things are removed, and it's taken down. So I'm trying to figure out if I even want to touch this. I'm gonna touch it very lightly. On TikTok, there was this a lady, and she's Bantu, and she was saying, to you African American people who are doing the hoodoo, you hoodoo people, you are not supposed to have an altar at your door. And I got tagged in it a couple times. People wanted me to respond, but I refused to respond to it simply because we may not even be talking about the same thing, sis. What I've come to realize is that because these terms are often used interchangeably, people, especially people who were born into the tradition, who use the terms traditionally and very accurately, they have a very different definition of an altar. So when you say, "Oh, I'm putting an altar at the door," they're like, "You're putting a spiritual workspace at the door. So you are at your front door and you are, leaving your space up where you may be, just honestly speaking, if we talk about tradition here, where you may be sacrificing certain animals and certain things, where you may be, doing certain spiritual works, you are leaving that up at your door." To them, that sounds crazy. But it's normally because in Western culture, when we speak of altar, we're really speaking of a shrine. We're not necessarily speaking of an altar. So a lot of people may not understand, but that woman, in a sense, was correct if she's speaking about an altar in a very traditional way. If she's speaking about an altar traditionally, where it's your spiritual workspace, you're not going to have blood and feathers and candle drippings and oils and all of that dripped out all over your front door. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to have your spiritual workspace set up at your front door. So if she's speaking of an altar in a very traditional spiritual workspace way, she is correct. You're not going to leave that up. Nobody really necessarily leaves that up. Okay, so she's right. But will you have a shrine at the front door? May you have a space where Eshu, because if you are in traditional Ifa, and you have Eshu is kept at the door, kept at the gateway of your home, the threshold of your home. So will you have a shrine for Eshu? Will you have a sacred space for Eshu? Absolutely. Eshu is kept at your threshold, is kept at your gateways. So yes, that shrine may be at your front door. But are you actually keeping up because honestly, there are some ceremonies, there are some times where there are sacrifices that are done at the threshold of the home, but that is, once the ceremony is over and it's done, that is immediately cleaned up. That altar, that workspace is cleaned up immediately, so it's not just left there. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example of an altar, a spiritual workspace. Now, some of y'all may remember this, but Azalea Banks, a while ago, a few years ago, had posted her altar, her spiritual workspace. And this is her space. This was her closet where she was doing her spiritual work, and she was about to clean it, and she posted it. Now, I'm going to show you the shrine Summer posted again. This is the shrine. Beautiful, well kept, cleaned. Now, I'm going to show you the spiritual workspace that Azalea posted. This is where the work is done. This is the spiritual workspace that Azalea posted. So if we're speaking about traditional spirituality, where you are doing this work, right? And there's an altar, there's a spiritual workspace, it may look like this. And this was a closet where she, did her spiritual work. This is her sacred space where, there are remnants of coconut shells and feathers and blood and different things like that, because she's doing that spiritual work in this space. Now, this is a space that most often people will not be allowed to enter unless she gives consent. It was a closet in her home, so it's kept in a sacred space. Now, look again. Look at shrine. Look at the shrine. The shrine Summer posted. Beautiful, clean, neat, open. Anybody can come. Light shining on it. Beautiful, gorgeous. She's kneeled down at it. Candles lit, flowers, fruit, all of that. And then look at Azalea's altar workspace, the spiritual workspace. Ain't no light shining down in there. Ain't no candles burning in there. it looks like work has been done in that sacred dark room, that closet, that space. So that's the difference between traditionally the difference between an altar and a shrine. So again, when that woman was saying, like, you're not supposed to keep an altar at your door, I'm like, I'm not about to go back and forth with this lady. I'm not about to entertain this because I don't know her definition of an altar. I don't know what she's speaking of. And I think a lot of people, when they heard her say altar, they're thinking shrine because they're using their shrine as an altar, which is okay too. That's okay too. If you're using the terms interchangeably, it's okay. That's all right. But there is technically and traditionally a difference between the two spaces. If you are talking to folks who are coming from old school, very traditional Isheshe, they probably won't even be using the term altar like that because it's not necessarily, I don't want to say it's not necessarily a thing, but it's just shrines. You have this shrine, you have this shrine, you have this shrine, you have this shrine, you have this space, and you'll often see if any of y'all have seen the Ebo process done, and you'll see that they have their shrines, they have their space, and when they're doing the various offerings. Okay, I don't want to go into much details. When they're doing the various offerings and things like that, you will often see that when they first started, everything looks nice and it looks great, and it doesn't look messy. But then they give the offerings, they give the blood, they give the alcohol, they give the things, they give the offerings, and it may get messy. And then everything, once it's all received, everything is immediately kept and cared for after that. So the shrine, again, is a very well kept space. Okay. So I hope that that's understood. I'm seeing the comments and I feel like, y'all are getting it. Okay. I feel like y'all are getting it, but there is a difference between an altar and a shrine. Now, should you have both? Honestly, naturally, most of y'all already have both. Most of you already have both. I don't think most people are at their shrine actually like preparing the plate at the shrine. I don't think most of y'all are at your, like, say for example, if you have like what we say an ancestor altar in the Western world, you say an ancestor altar. Now, traditionally, an ancestor altar would be an Egun shrine. Okay, Egun, or some people say Egun, some people say Egungun. It would be an Egun shrine. Okay, so that's what we call an ancestor altar. Is traditionally an Egun shrine. So people will often say, like, ancestor altar in tradition. They'll say ancestor altars. We don't have that. We don't have an ancestor altar. That's not traditional. But an Egun shrine is traditional. They wouldn't call their Agun shrine an ancestor altar because you're not using that space as a spiritual workspace. Okay, so they wouldn't necessarily call it that, but you probably aren't using your ancestor altar as a spiritual workspace either. I don't think that you're at the ancestor altar actually like cooking the food and preparing the food and all of that at the altar. I think that you are probably off in another space preparing the plate and you bring it to your ancestor altar and you offer it. It's a shrine. But the term shrine is just not common to us. Okay. So I hope y'all kind of understand the difference between the two. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is what everybody wants to know: what should be kept private and what should be, public. I'm going to just say this: everybody's journey is different. That's number one. Everybody has different directives. Okay. That's number two. So I can't tell somebody what they should and should not show. None of us have the right to say who's wrong for showing what, who should and should not show what. We don't have that power to say. That's not up to us. But what I will say is, Summer Walker did not show anything that you would not, if you was in Nigeria, you would not walk down the street and see in Yoruba land. She did not show anything that if you actually truly have elders in the tradition and you ever been to a misa or you ever walked into the home of an elder in the tradition, you would not see some sort of shrine anywhere. She did not show anything that you would not normally see in this tradition. So people who are, feeling like she's showing too much or you're not supposed to see this, I understand that, people feel like, okay, everything is not for the internet, but y'all, I had this conversation with with one of my god sisters. Like, I said, listen, sis, this is 2023. If Zora Neale Hurston was alive today, she would be a YouTuber. Everybody loves Zora Neale Hurston. Oh, she documented hoodoo and da da da. If Zora Neale Hurston was alive in 2023, she would be a YouTuber. She would be on Instagram. We have the right to document our lives as it is today in the form of documentation today. Let's be clear. Everybody wants to live like it's 1822, 1923, and it's just not that anymore. This is, yes, we live in the age of the internet. If somebody is documenting their life journey and they're sharing their life journey, they're going to share it in the form that we share it in 2023. Summer is not showing anything that's like that's so private and so sacred that you shouldn't show the world. It's right. Like, I gotta go to come on, Sazon. Come on, Sazon. Like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep, y'all. It's not that deep. Summer did not do anything wrong. She didn't show anything. She didn't show anybody in the process of sacrificing anything. She didn't show anybody in the process of, doing any type of ritual or doing a rogation or anything like that. She wasn't showing that. This is very light. Showing a shrine, a shrine is very light. And I understand that to the world, because majority of the Western world, especially Black folks, are still heavily deep Christian and are still not connected with African spirituality and traditional, spiritual practices. So they're not really okay with it, and it shocks them very much how Azalea shook up the world when she showed her spiritual workspace, so it shocks them to see it. But y'all, trust me, that's light. Showing a shrine is light. It's light work, okay? It's very light work. A shrine is like bare minimum. Sis is documenting her journey as she should. She's documenting her journey as she's supposed to do. Summer is a queen who she has a platform where the world knows who she is. To me personally, she would be wrong if she was as blessed as she was and she wasn't transparent about her spiritual practices. You see what I'm saying? You know how somebody get on the stage, win an award, and they get on the stage and they thank God. They thank God. They thank God. If she's practicing African spirituality, if she's in an African traditional religion, she would be wrong for saying, "Hey, I birthed twins naturally. No tearing, no medication, no nothing. Mafre fun oshun." If she's doing veneration to her ancestors, she's venerating Orisha, she's in a tradition, and that tradition has blessed her spiritually to give her the platform that she has, blessing her financially the way it's blessed her with the beautiful children and family that it's blessed her with good health, blessed her with abundance. She would be wrong to not give thanks and homage in the way that we do in 2023. Why would you want her to be like this sacred, hush, don't tell nobody practitioner? I'm grateful that she is being open and being public and not, giving to the pressures of society that she only can thank Jesus and that's it. Because it ain't just Jesus that she's venerating. It's not just Jesus that she's honoring. So she would be wrong if she was doing all this work and being so dedicated to African spirituality and African traditional religion, and she didn't give thanks and pay homage to what she's receiving in return. She's doing her job. So for me, the folks who are in ATRs and who are practicing African spirituality, and you're disappointed that she showed a shrine, it's like, well, when you get blessed in your life, you don't give thanks. When you get blessed in your life and you posted that brand new house you just got, or that car you just got, or that baby you just birthed, you're not going to You're not gonna mafarefuno shun, mafarefuno ya. You're not gonna give thanks. You're not gonna show or put the world on to what you've been doing. Each one teach one. It's folks out there who gonna admire you and who gonna admire how you got to where you got. You would be wrong if you didn't say, "Hey, a part of how I got to where I got is I pay homage to Orisha too." I thank God. I thank Orisha. I thank my ancestors. You would be wrong if you didn't show that. The people who are admiring you, who want to know how you got it out the mud, you would be wrong if you didn't say, "Hey, I didn't just get it out the mud by myself." Mafrefuno shun, mafrefuno ya, mafrefun shango, mafrefun. You would be wrong if you didn't say that to me personally. So do I think Summer was wrong? Absolutely not. She did what she was supposed to do, and she's gonna keep doing it. And the world has to catch up. Specifically, I really don't care about the world catching up. Specifically, African American folks got to catch up. Okay. And I'm just being real about that. African American folks got to catch up. You know, the praying for somebody's deliverance and stuff like that. I get it. I get that you feel like you're doing the right thing, but you probably should kind of educate yourself before you should start praying for somebody's deliverance. For the folks who feels like, well, she's showing too much, you're not supposed to show that. You don't know what her directives are. You don't know what's her etai. You don't know what path she's been put on. For some people, when they get their divination says that. Their divination says that you are supposed to teach the world about the power of Oshun. You are supposed to teach the world about the blessings of Obatala. You are supposed to show the world and teach the world, be an example. For some people, their divination will clearly say that. So who are you to tell them that they can't do that? Who are you to tell her that you can't come on the internet dressed in your whites? You are in your year of white. She's a Lukumi practitioner. You're in your year of white. You're not supposed to come on the internet dressed in white. You are not her godparents, okay? You are not her elders. You are a nigga on the internet watching. You have no right to tell that woman what she should and should not be doing. And guess what? If she ever did wrong, if she ever stepped outside of her path, that's between her ancestors, Orisha, God. That's between them. That's none of your business. It's none of my business. Okay. And again, showing a shrine is very light work. A shrine is very light work. Now, with Azalea, I ain't gonna front. When she showed the spiritual workspace, she showed the altar. I was like, oh, she's showing, she's showing it. She's showing it. She's showing the things. For me, I was like, here go the I was hyped. Here go the conversation. Get the people talking, sis. Get the people talking, because there's a lot of folks who want to be in this tradition. Okay, come on, Deja. A nigga watching on the internet. Sometimes we don't realize, including myself, sometimes we don't realize you just a nigga watching another nigga on the internet. You're just watching somebody's life. And anytime you feel a pinch of judgment creep in, you need to remind yourself, I'm just a nigga on the internet. Some of us just need to remind ourselves, because we think we got too much power over other people's life. Sometimes we got certain, when you scrolling on, I'm just a nigga on the internet. I just say that to myself sometimes. I'm just look at me, just a nigga on the internet. I'm not, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? My opinion has absolutely no bearing on anybody's blessings. None. But you know who blessings it bears? Mine. That's my karma. That's my energy I put out. So if I ever find myself being judgmental, I ask for forgiveness, because that's not my space. That's not my space. But like I was saying, when Azalea posted, you know, let me show you one more time. When she posted this, and she posted her altar, her spiritual workspace, I said, oh, Zelly, they're not ready, sis. They not ready, sis. This is a lie. They not ready. But I knew the people needed it, because they needed to see that this is what really happens. And I believe she had said, where she was like, real witches do real things. And that's real. Real witches do real things. Everybody want to, oh, I'm a witch. Oh, I practice African spirituality. Oh, I do this. You ever had a chicken? Huh? You ain't never. Oh, okay. Real witches do real things. That conversation needed to occur. Okay? That needed to happen. Huh? Okay, they wasn't ready. You ain't never had to split nothing and drip. Oh, okay. Okay. They wasn't ready. They wasn't ready. And it got the folks going. And a lot of folks, again, in the ATR community were very upset because it was like, should she show this? Should she not? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you to decide what she should show and what she should not show? Who are you? Now, I can speak for myself. For myself, it's not in my directives to show my spiritual workings. It's not in my directives to show my altars. But if it ever came up that you need to show this, you need to, I would do it. I would follow. But that's not in a part of my journey, but it is a part of my journey to teach. And guess what? When my tongue is held and I'm told you don't need to talk about that, don't share that. I don't. The wellness community know that. The wellness community knows that. And what I do, I will try to get somebody who it's a part of their directives to teach that and to talk about that. I hold my tongue when my tongue is supposed to be held. I don't speak on everything. That's not my space to speak on. Okay, so for example, I'll talk about it because it's still early. When we talking about like the elders of the night, right? We talking about the Iyamiaje, right? We talking about the elders of the night. There's certain things I cannot speak on. I have not received those energies. I do not work with those energies. So there's certain things that I will not speak on. I stay in my lane. I stays in my lane. Okay? That's it. I stays in my lane. And I think everybody should practice staying in your lane. If you've received those orishas, if you've received those energies, speak on them, teach on them, show them, share them as you have been guided to. Okay? As you have been guided to. Each one, teach one. Somebody gonna see what Summer posted. They're gonna see her shrine and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, what is this? Okay, this is that. Okay, well, let me start researching this." And that may lead them to where they need to be. That may put them on their right path. So she's doing her job with the platform she has. Okay. As I said, if Zora Neale Hurston was alive today, she would be doing the same thing. She would be on Instagram. She would be on TikTok. She would be on YouTube. Okay. And not to say that, we shouldn't be writing books, because clearly we should be writing books, but that's only one aspect of teaching. The world has progressed. Therefore, what we show and how we show it will progress. That's like getting upset because Yaya Tish wrote Jambalaya. Yaya Tish, guess what she's doing? Thank God we still have the elder present here with us. Yaya Tish has moved, and not moved from, because she also has Calabash Cowries that just came out. But Yaya Tish has progressed from just writing books to now she's on Instagram Live teaching and talking about sacred things and things like that. She's on Instagram Live teaching. The world progresses, y'all. So what should be kept private, what should be kept public is different for everyone. Everyone has different directives. Everyone has different guidelines to follow, and it's all based on your own personal divination. Okay, so when you get word back, when you receive your divination back and you get your directives, you get your taboos, your things that you should and should not do, you will be told what you can, or you can ask and consult Ifa about what you can and cannot show. Okay, but showing a shrine is very, very light in many cases. To us in the Western world, it's new because a lot of people still practice privately, because this is not normalized yet in the Western world. Unfortunately, folks is just now, starting to publicly speak about these things. Okay, folks are just now starting to openly say, "Hey, I practice Santeria, or I practice Lukumi, or I practice Kunduble, I practice hoodoo or voodoo, Isheshe." Folks are just now starting to be open and be public about that. But I just want to be clear that, in a lot of other countries, you go to Cuba, this is normal stuff. You go to Cuba, it's light work to walk down the street and see a shrine. That's light. I told y'all I got videos where I'm in the Catholic Church and folks got on their lekes in the Catholic Church. This stuff is normalized. Santeria, Lukumi, Ifa traditions, Orisha traditions are normalized. We got to catch up over here in America. A lot of African Americans are the only ones who are still talking about, Jesus and Jesus only. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Jesus. Jesus is also a part of a lot of other traditions and goes by other names and other traditions and religions. But I'm saying African Americans are the only ones who are still like Jesus and Jesus only. That's it. And if you honor anything else or you talk about anything else, then, that's a false idol. You're going to hell. That's devil worship and da 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 da. In America, we just got to catch up. We just got to catch up. Okay, family? So I hope this helps. And again, if you are using the terms altar and shrine interchangeably, it's okay. But I do want to remind y'all that there is a bit of a difference, and y'all are probably already doing the difference, which is, again, the shrine is the space where the veneration occurs. Usually the altar is the spiritual work space where you prepare the offerings and the sacrifices and things like that. Both spaces are very sacred. Both spaces are honored. Traditionally, the altar is taken down and cleaned up immediately after the work is done. The shrine is left up always, traditionally, okay? So you may have an ancestor altar, but it's traditionally known as an Egun shrine, okay? So what you really have is an Egun shrine. Your altar is where you prepare your things at, okay? So if you want to create an altar, you can. Usually it's just a space like a table, and you put like a special cloth, like a blessed cloth, or in the church they say a prayer cloth, but you'll put like a white cloth over it or something like that. But you'll usually just bless the space. You'll prepare your offerings or do your sacrifices and everything there, and then you will bless it and bring it over to the shrine and offer it to the energy that the shrine is dedicated to. So that's normally how it works. Okay, so if you want to create a spiritual workspace, or you want to dedicate a certain spot in your kitchen, a certain counter that you want to use, then cool, you can definitely do that. But just keep doing what you're doing. And the biggest thing is about the intention. The intention is about giving gratitude. The intention is about love. The intention is about, saying thank you. And when you are blessed in return, you should share that with the world. And I'm not saying that because I'm not, I don't know what traditions everybody is in. I'm not, y'all godmother, things like, so I'm not doing your divination. I'm not doing anything like that. So I don't know what anybody's directives or taboos are. But what I am saying is you have the right to give gratitude and give thanks as you see fit, as your spirit leads, as your directive leads. You have the right to give gratitude. Each one teach one. And for many folks, it will tell you that you are supposed to teach how to teach. You can share what to share, how to share. It's 2023. Okay, so the internet is a large space that you should share. And the same way, as soon when you put up that post and you say, I've been blessed with this, or look what happened, I got a new job, I got a new thing. Also tell people what you've been doing spiritually to earn that. Okay. Also, you ain't got to go in great detail, but a little Mafere insert Orisha, insert, ancestors, Egun. A little bit of reverence and thank you goes a long way. When you bragging about, I ain't gonna say bragging, but when you showing folks what you've been blessed with and how you're elevating, also show them and talk about the spiritual work that you putting in. Okay, show them the spiritual energy that you putting out in detail. Y'all don't fall under the pressure of just thanking Jesus only. Don't fall under the pressure. Don't be scared. Okay. Give thanks and pay homage. And so folks who are in ATRs, you are fully initiated and you are passing judgment. And you want to dictate what folks should and should not be showing, what folks should and should not be doing. I also just want to share with you that the energy you put out is the energy you get back. And the same way that you on the internet typing and judging, okay, you talking too. You sharing too. All right. And just as loud and as boastful you are as you are about your blessings, I would hope that you are just as loud and as boastful about paying homage to the energies that's helping you receive that. Okay. So just be mindful. You might want to take notes from the Sister Queen. Okay. So shout out to Summer Walker, okay, for being brave enough, because we ain't fools. When you post something like that, you already know what's about to come back. We ain't no fools, and she ain't no fool. She's a very intelligent sister. So she knew the risk that she was taking. And to me, that speaks volumes that she was willing to take that risk to give thanks and pay homage to Orisha. It speaks volumes that she was willing to put herself at risk to give thanks and pay homage to Orisha in that way. It speaks volumes. And I pray that she is blessed in return for that. Okay, because that's a high risk. She literally put her platform at risk. She put her position at risk to give thanks. She's breaking out of the status quo. And speaking of African spirituality, a Black woman in Hollywood speaking of African spirituality and showing what she's doing, or what she's connected to. So I think that takes a lot of bravery and a lot of courage. So shout out to the sister queen. And I think we all could take notes, because some of us are still hiding from our family. Some of us is hiding from our family what we doing. Okay, the sis ran head first into the judgment of the world. So if she could do that for the world, imagine what you could do in the face of your family members, in the face of your friends. You know what I'm saying? So I think, again, it's just a great example of bravery and courage. You know what I'm saying? In my personal opinion. But okay, family, I love y'all dearly, and I will see y'all soon. Y'all know we about to block the foolishness. Any negativity shall be blocked. We don't give it no energy. We don't entertain it. We don't give it no energy. We don't entertain it. Any negativity shall be blocked. We gives it no energy. We don't entertain it. We just remove it and we keep on pushing forward. Okay, family? I hope that y'all remain well. Have a great day and be prepared for Rihanna concert. Today is Rihanna concert day with a little sprinkle of football. It's Rihanna's concert with a sprinkle of football. Okay? All right. I love y'all dearly, and I will see y'all soon. Enjoy the concert. Say hey, Diddy. Say hey. Say hey to the people. Diddy got a little bath yesterday, okay? So he get a bath and he be worn out for 2 days straight after a bath, okay? He act like he don't work the full shift from a bath. Okay. I love y'all, family. All right. And enjoy the concert. Wellness community. Y'all know I'm gonna be in the group chat, okay? And getting it. All right. I love y'all. See y'all soon. Much peace.